So I'm going to push it for right here because I forgot to put audio on the screen that has the sponsors and affiliate. So hello everyone, this is VR Jungled, and then welcome to 2023. And I'm already messing up as 2023. I added one new page, and I was supposed to do it last year. It took me 2 damn months, and then I forgot to add my audio because I got too excited about it. But as you saw that for a split second, we have all of our sponsors, and you saw their link in the description. It also says, please subscribe, like, and comment as well. We need some subscribers. Say that as much as I can because some people come listen and just don't subscribe. So if you like us, subscribe. We're all about VR here. But with our sponsors and our affiliates, we have W Energy. It's one of my favorite energy drinks when it comes to gaming, and especially when I have to drive home after a long day. It keeps me awake so I don't crash and die. That's very important. And then we have Ruckup VR, who we finally have an affiliate code for starting as of 2023. So they are now in our sponsored section, and I will be getting that link up there in our description after this podcast is done. Check them out. They're all about pro straps, and they also got decals as well. Then we have our gun stock company as well, and YellowHat right here will also probably know about them, which is Olin VR. They are, in my opinion, one of the best gun stocks around. You know, biased opinion, whatever, take it. And then lastly, we have VR Cover. If you're looking for not that little foamy thing that comes with your VR headset and you want a little bit of flavor and color, then go check them out. And like I said, all of the discount codes are in the description. I'm not going to call those all out. But today with us, brand new episode for VR Jungle 2023. First episode, so be proud, Mr. YellowHat. We have YellowHat from... he plays Vale, and we'll get deeper into that. And then he was also captain of the Pavlov team, and he plays for the team. And why did I just freaking space out and forget?
Vortex.
Vortex. Thank you. I was like, I have the image in my head. I'm like, why can I not remember it? Please help me. So Vortex,
Okay.
and then so the biggest thing I want to talk about with Vortex, and congratulations as well, YellowHat is going to Miami and winning the tournament. So getting into that. And then, of course, I can't forget our lovely co-host, Kuss, right over there. Can't forget about you. I was just going to skip right over you. Screw you, 2023.
They all know who I am.
How you all doing today?
Fantastic, man.
Good.
I
Happy
had to
to,
take a
happy
breath.
to
You
be
guys
here.
talk for a second. I'm going to take some water.
I worked and I came home. That is my
Dude,
accomplishments for the day.
About the same. Came home. Actually played on my Nintendo Switch a little bit. You know, gotta vary things up every now and then. But yeah, no, it's been good.
Awesome.
I saw your capture this morning. I think it was it this morning? You sent the screenshot.
I mean, it might have been yesterday.
Yesterday?
Oh yeah. So it was Sunday. I woke up and I turned on my Switch because I was gonna play a little bit before I got out of bed, and I was like training a mod or whatever. And I love how this is VR. We're just talking about Pokemon already. The addiction is real. And so I wake up and I look over and boom, there's a little shiny Meryl. It's like a little water type, and shiny is like really, it's like a cosmetic difference, but it's like 1 in 4,000 odds. So I just like see it there. I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm gonna go
This
catch
is my
you.
life now. I need
Yeah.
That's funny.
So-
That's funny.
But
So, have you ever played Revomon? That's Pokemon in VR if you don't know.
I've played a couple.
thing.
Not
Yeah.
Ravamon, but I've played a couple different Pokemon projects in VR actually. So
Is that
there was one that's called PokeQuest VR that I played probably March of last year, and it was done in Unreal Engine, and it was launched for both PC VR, and they got it on the side quest, I think.
Yeah.
And then I had a couple buddies who ran Pixelmon servers, which are like Minecraft, and then you could theoretically do Questcraft or the Vivecraft mod and combine the two. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's every time.
I just don't think we're ever going to get a Pokemon legit unless Nintendo makes a VR headset.
That'd be a very tough sell. But I mean, hey, if Japan starts adopting VR like crazy, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they got the Pico Neo. They could play around with that.
Yeah.
Could.
So, with it being 2023, and then we'll dive definitely deeper. And I know Kuss will definitely want to talk to you about Vale. And I think other people want to hear about Vale as well. Just the tournament and what you think the prospects of the game is going to continue to be like going into 2023. But have any of you guys noticed the sales for this year? Do you think that VR is in a healthy state? Do you think that it kind of is lacking? What's your guys' opinion there?
I mean, you've got, of course, next month you've got PSVR 2 coming out,
Correct.
which of course is very huge for the VR scene because it's the first time that like one of the major consoles is getting involved in VR like a more serious level, right? You know, PSVR
and
like
PS5s in general just
Yeah.
got a boost in
They say they're no longer
quantity.
backstock.
Yeah, they're no longer backstock. So I mean, that could mean a lot.
Yeah, and so I feel like at this point you have a lot of devs racing against the clock trying to get their games ready for PSVR 2 and you know, I feel like that's going to determine a lot of like the future for VR just seeing those numbers alone. Like it's a hard thing to ignore, right? And then you have they like had the Sony event the other night and they confirmed like something like 30 titles or something, or you know, not necessarily a release, but throughout this year. One of those titles being Gran Turismo 7, which is just like a Sony, excuse me, like flagship title because that game has been out since the 90s, like that franchise. And so that'll probably be like the go-to sim racer for, and you know, that's like a whole community itself is the sim racing community. And yeah, you'll probably need like a wheel and everything, but still just to have VR support right out the gate too on launch is pretty huge. And then they've got some of their own exclusive titles, which I think look pretty interesting. The one that seems to be catching everybody's eye right now is like Horizon. Like called.
Yep, Horizon is definitely gonna be a good one. I will definitely be getting PSVR 2. I'm not going to get it on release because I think the hype right now, and I think PlayStation's going to hold true to the games that they have out now. Like they have a couple other ones. There's nothing that's really competitive, but I will definitely start looking into it when Vale has their version of the game out for PS. I
think it's honestly just going to be an easy 1-to-1. I think they're just going to.
People always say that, but they're still going to have to go through beta testing. You know, even though the game's still in beta testing, it's not in full release yet. But with that, you know, there's like games that I want to still see on PlayStation. So like Ghost of Tabor, Vale, Breachers.
I think Pav is like confirmed.
Breachers needs to get to Steam VR first before.
Dude, you guys are missing one hell of a game. Breachers. That's probably the only game I'll probably this year. I was talking to TBG about this, and especially like you know, as you know, YellowHat, I'm the founder of esports Havoc. Like I told him, I go, I'm not doing much with Havoc. I go, I'm probably just going to compete in Breachers and just chill out. I'm just like.
I mean, I played the first test of Breachers. I know they've come out with like several updates after, but I like even just the first test, like yeah, there was like some issues, but I was very much wowed by it. Like
it's very polished.
You have your own casting tool right off the rip.
The tool's great too.
Yeah. You solve the problem of like ghosting in spectator mode. So like a lot of games, what they do is they just put you in a death room and then you can like watch it like screen or whatnot. But like you can freely fly around and you can't like ghost comms or anything.
But you can see the game. That's scary.
Yeah. And you can still watch the game and feel like you're a part of it. That and just like, you know, it's got like an economy, so there's that kind of higher level like additional skill ceiling of like economy management, and there's a bunch of different gadgets and everything. And the thing that's interesting too is that it's not hero based. Like that's, you know,
like Rainbow. Yeah. It's like it's CS:GO and like Rainbow mixed. If it was like...
because the thing that I've always found with hero shooters, like I played a lot of Apex, I played some Overwatch, right? You play it at launch, it's like, okay, there's a manageable amount of characters to learn. You take a break for a year, you come back, oh shit, like we're at like 16 characters at Apex when it was 8 at launch, or like we're at like 30 at Overwatch when it was like, you know, maybe 15. And it's like, okay, what happened? How do I learn all these characters? What does this one do? And it makes it very hard to get back into it. So I kind of almost like that it's not hero based in a way.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Because like even if you look at Siege now,
skill locked as hell,
dude.
It is.
There's so many freaking characters. Like I can't. I looked at it the other day. I'm just like, what the hell? And then like the good ones,
I have all the
get.
characters. I have all the characters.
So many.
Every single character.
I mean, like it's one thing if they're like all available to you. Like in Overwatch, I'm pretty sure like they are like
they are not. They
not
are
anymore.
So Overwatch, you now
Overwatch
have
2.
to play. Whatever. Overwatch 2, you have to play to get the experience to level up and then get the characters. Something weird.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Breachers, it's not even full release. I plan on having them on the podcast later this year. I tried to get them on when they came out for beta, and they're just like, no, we're going to wait. And I go, I get it. I mean, you guys are, but, they're coming from already a successful game, They're a good production. Hyperdash is successful. I think Hyperdash definitely still has a future. It is pretty much Breachers, but it was like their very first baby of Breachers, pretty much. And it's like, will they continue it on? I mean, a lot of people love that game. We have a team that plays in that game, and they're very skilled players at it. But when you look at that, it's almost like they're creating all these hero shooters without bringing in the actual heroes. And that's a very interesting thing, because you have a game like Siege where they're just like, let's play the game, and here's all your gadgets. Doesn't matter who you are. We do limit the gadgets. And then in their other game, it's just like, this is like Overwatch where you have a payload, but but we're going to go ahead and put guns around the map like Halo.
Yeah. I haven't played that much Hyperdash. I know people that have and like played it competitively and everything, and it's that'd be a game I definitely would be interested in trying out. But also just like seeing Breachers and what they've already achieved just in beta, and not even like released to like PC VR yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the other big thing. It's crossplay, right? Or it's going to be crossplay.
It will be crossplay, but they're going with the best model, and I hope people, if they're listening to this, they don't narc on what I'm about to say. They did it the smart way, where they pushed to the majority first. I'm so kind of sick and tired where they're just like, we're going to go ahead and push to PC VR first, and then we'll worry about Quest later. And then they have all these problems with trying to push it over to Quest because the way they built it. It's just like, we already know PC VR is the easiest version to build. The standalones for the graphic quality and the gaming and making sure things aren't lagging and everything's aren't breaking, that's the hardest part. Once they get that out of the way, then go ahead. Like,
I mean, I get it. It's like the differences even in just like how everything works under the hood is crazy. Like
even like so not even just like trying to code your game for just regular gameplay. You got to think of all the controller, all the hardware issues, like,
and all the multiplayer stuff too. Like I just learned yesterday that like Pavlov, for example, the PC servers are set to 90 hertz tick rate, and then the Shack servers are 30.
Oh, only 90 for PC, and you can get up to 144 on headsets.
Wait, you just said
so the server tick rate, the server
Shack
is 30, and then for PC VR it's 90.
Now, is that for public-based servers or the ones you purchase?
Public. So like the standard
ones.
The purchase ones you can actually set the tick rate. So you could set it to like 120 or whatever you want to do with it, but by default, like the base game ones, literally yesterday he just said that Shack is at 30 and then PC VR is at 90, just because of like all the internet differences too, right? Because you're playing like Wi-Fi versus wired. So
man, that's crazy, because I don't, when I played Pavlov, I never played on the community-based servers, because I just went to, if you play on a competitive level, I mean, one, they have Pavlov League, which
like
is
three
also
of them.
The main one I go to is they also
the Shack League. That's probably the one.
The Shack League is the one that I go to, and then another big one, and I was even thinking about buying a server from them, is Pavlov.com, or what is it? I think it's just called. I was just literally on it today. Something Pavlov.com. You guys should probably know.
There's a bunch of different ones and a bunch of different server providers, but and that community has so anyways, so back to Breachers, because I feel bad. I'm always the type that I could just go in like 50 different directions. So.
No, it's all good. That's what a podcast is for.
Yeah, exactly.
You go in circles until you finally get to the answer.
Exactly. So, but breaches, though, I mean, like even the weapons felt good, right? Like,
Yeah.
they, the one of the main rifles, I guess, is like the little mini M4 or whatnot. It kicks up for a few rounds, and then it might go like side to side for a little bit, and then it just starts going like side to side a lot if you're like spraying a lot. So you can learn the spray pattern, and you can get good at like just full autoing and everything. But you can also like burst as well, and like there's an element of skill in that, and it doesn't necessarily, like, even in games, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, I guess CS spray patterns or CS style spray patterns. Like, I'd still consider like Pop 1, there's like a huge skill gap in that, even between just like the weapon handling, because a lot of it is one-handed weapon handling or two weapon.
I
And then
wish the recoil is more skill oriented. I'll say it. None of the VR game are skill oriented. They're more of like pattern. So like, I mean that all ARs for the most part, the one they shoot differently. Every single one doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So like, I would hope for a more unpredictability when spray patterns are presented in VR to give us a more set
Well,
of realism.
technically, if you're talking about virtual reality, they should all have the same pattern as an actual gun, and that's where.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's an unpredictability of the spray pattern.
it's
like-
it's hard too, because gamers don't like RNG. That's
Yeah.
just
But I mean, it's not technically RNG because it'd be a smaller cone. So like, instead of how Pavlov does it, where it's like a CSGO kind of, it's like hey, this is your spray pattern, whatever, right? It's gonna be a straight up and down, but it's gonna either slant to the right, center, or left, depending on how you hold the gun.
But even then, it's like that's like the unpredictability that people don't like, because they want to be able to like learn something, right? Like people want to be able to learn, like, okay,
Some people want ultra realism.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you know?
It's so hard to
That's why I love hot dog horseshoes, hand grenades, man. Accurate as hell. I love it.
And it's hard because and going into just like the competitive side of everything, like you have so many different people that want all these different things, and you look at like Vale, for example, and you just see all the threads of people going back and forth and back and forth, like, V crouch shouldn't be a thing. V crouch should be a thing for accessibility. It's an accessibility thing, like, and if you want to toggle,
I got bad knees. I need the thing, like, shit.
like, okay, so like that was like a huge argument, and it's like, okay, perhaps if you have like a competitive tick for a server, or server side options like custom games like Call of Duty, where you could just select all the different options, like that's how they used to do it back in the day for the CDL rules, and so allow virtual crouch or don't allow it, because I mean they didn't allow virtual crouch at the LAN, so most of us practiced,
and we talked to Tropical about that.
Yeah, because it's like visually, it's like you'd rather see people like crouching and drop shotting and like getting into the game
laying on the floor
versus just like pressing a button and getting crouched.
It is true, but what if you have someone that's in a wheelchair, or handy as, like, they need some type of formality to where they have chronic illness or something, and they're gonna have to find those rules to be like, hey, like this person will have to do it, or are they just not going to let them play?
Yeah,
some
it's
people
always
use the Steam VR overlay tool, and then they like actually like they have there's a binding that you can do.
Like a player that comes to mind. Some people that know him for the Pavlov or the contractors community. His name is Handy Clapper.
Yeah,
and he's a guy who is like bound to a wheelchair and everything, but still plays VR, and he's got his own custom setup to where his settings work so that he can run around and everything like most other people. The only thing that he couldn't necessarily do was reach down and grab guns, but in some games like Vale, for example, there's the force grab, so he doesn't have to worry about that. He could just reach out, grab, boom.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that. You don't have to fucking bend over.
Yeah, and for all of us old people, like, we're just rejoicing since we don't have to bend.
Old people, my ass.
But still, it's just like, accessibility is always a thing in VR, and that's the other tough part. Like, well, before we were even going into the LAN in the first place, it was like, okay, how are they going to set up like a VR LAN? Because when you look at a flat screen LAN, it's like, okay, everybody's computer's the same, everybody's monitor's the same. You bring your own mouse and keyboard, boom, done, easy. Whereas VR, it's like you have to decide the headset, unless it's like a Quest event.
Bring your own.
Yeah. So in this case, they made everybody play on Valve indexes, and they supplied everybody with Valve indexes, as well as they made everybody. And this is for the Veil land for.
Did you get to
Thieves.
keep it?
No.
No, we did not.
Oh.
But they did offer them like for sale, I think for like a slightly discounted rate, which was nice.
That's
And,
fair, actually.
Someone's like, why do I want this outdated piece of shit?
Hey, Valve Index is still the best right now. Actually,
that's the
let's segue. The HTC's new standalone, the Vive XR, looking pretty nice. Just saying.
I see. I'm still looking forward to the Deckard, and it's gonna outbeat.
Oh
everything.
yeah, Deckard's gonna outbeat everything. However, there's these new controllers I just saw. I need you to go to the guest chat, check out these new controllers. They're called Flip VR controllers.
I think I saw.
It's on It's on CES 2023, which is for those who don't know, it's the Consumer Electronic something. It's Consumer Electronic something. It's like a giant event. And there's there's a tweet there you can hit, and you can see that you can literally flip where, you know how the Valve controllers have like the little buttons there. You can flip them out of your range, and you could use your fucking hands and not have to worry about the controller. Awesome, dude. Like if I get a new set of controllers, I want one.
I just want something that I don't get stick drift on. Like, goddamn, how many index controllers have you had to RMA?
I have had 3 left controllers and 2 rights.
So
I've gone through like.
Here's the thing about that. PlayStation 5 with their new Pro controller just made the best goddamn, and like, I don't know why this hasn't been a thing forever, but if you saw the new PlayStation 5 controller for the Pro one, they actually have flippers now. People are like, why would I want to spend $150, $200 on a controller if I had to keep buying these over and over again? My first thing was like, God damn it, I've gone through so many PlayStation controllers due to stick drift, and their new Pro controller, you can take out the stick module. They made it for the consumer to be able to take out the stick. Like, why? That's the next. That needs to come. Like, I would definitely buy a VR Pro controller. Just allow me to take the stick. You know, the module.
That's why so if you look at that Flip VR, right? You have two like modules that look like they can come apart. I don't know how easily. However, that looks like it's easily like take apart, put back together.
Whereas you have to do like freaking brain surgery on any sort of VR controller just to get the joystick out and get it back in, and risk ruining the controller.
I'm really hopeful for the Flip VR controller. So I'll link it in the chat here.
But the thing is with that as well, like, man, the electronic cleaner, like static cleaner, on any stick I've ever had for stick drift, instantly gets rid of it. And I think it's just built up dirt and sweat. Yeah, I mean, WD-40 might fuck it up, and it also stinks. But like, this stuff, is made for electronics, and
Was that for the all PS5 controllers or only the Pro?
Only the Pro one.
Yeah.
But
that's doo-doo.
Everyone, and that's like, like this is like, a shitty PlayStation 4 one right here. But like these modules, like you could still take those out, but you have to
Xbox Pro controller.
You literally, that's a $200 controller in your hand.
Also, right, like I can, complete custom ability.
Yeah, and people like even bitched about that one. A lot of people were worried because the flippers, how they can easily fall off and stuff like that. But the PlayStation 5 controller has just as much custability and everything come in and out. But definitely, I was not going to buy it until I found out I can take out the stick module. I'm like, okay, you got me sold.
Honestly, yeah. Like if Steam VR came out with controllers, which I don't know what the Deckard controllers look like, but they're supposed to look similar to the Quest controllers. So what I'm thinking is that it's going to be another one that you're going to have to RMA.
Yeah.
It's not something you can.
And see, that's the thing is they would save I feel like they would save so much money as a company
and so much time. Like company dollars, time, dude. If you I'm 100% going to get those Flip controllers because they look like they're going to be really good comfortability wise, and they're not that heavy. Supposedly.
Yeah. And that's like kind of on this, like I know somebody, for example, that has gone through like over 12, 13 pairs of index controllers. I'm not kidding. Especially like
The price tag.
well, especially back before, like, a lot of games, it was like the movement in the VR games was
Push
like,
down, push down, push down.
well, it was that. Oh yeah. Also, first of all, if you're a VR dev and you're listening to this, please do not make the joystick click your default for sprint. Please, you're gonna save a lot of joysticks by doing that. And so the other thing is that a lot there was like no inertia, so you could just wiggle like side to side like crazy, and so people would just like wiggle their joysticks and just they get stick drift in like 2 months.
Oh wow,
that's funny.
It was insane. And so like people
I just think they need to upgrade the modules, because right now they're using plastic modules that are easily snappable, and it doesn't.
And that's the thing is like, VR tech, it's going to take time, and like we were saying, like even the Index all these years later, like it's still like a good PC VR headset. Like it's still one of the few that can get up to 144 hertz at I say reasonable when you compare it to like not the Pico, the Pimax.
Right? Yeah, Pimax.
Yeah. And playing 144 hertz as a competitive player is butter smooth, and you get the best results, and especially in a lot of games where, fun fact, to an extent, fire rate and recoil ever so slightly get affected by recoil.
Cyclic rate does change.
By frames.
I had to so for a little while, this PC was the one that I'm using now isn't able to run 144 hertz on my my Index, right? So what I had to do, I had to play at the lowest setting. I think it's 80, right? Oh, trust me. When I got my new computer back, which exploded, a whole epic, whatever. I had to go back to this. So what I do, I unplug everything, and I have to go to 120 hertz. I can get 120 hertz reliably, and it works.
I mean, for a while,
it changes. I get kills so much easier with higher hertz. Yeah. It's stupid.
I remember, like, I finally made the swap to 144 hertz. I'm like at least in 5v5, and I'm like, man, this feels significantly better. And that's why like optimization is definitely really important. And hopefully with a lot of, because a lot of VR games are made in like Unreal and Unity, but like for the Unreal side, like with a lot of devs trying to make the push to Unreal 5, like hopefully a lot of optimization.
VR is never going to be ready for Unreal 5 for another couple years.
It's got a little bit, and I mean, yes, like Pav is in it and Veil is trying to go to Unreal 5, but I mean, realistically, it's gonna take a while. It is going to take a while.
Pav is almost there though. I can say reliably,
Unreal 5. I think Unreal 4 is very realistic, and why make something that's so new that not even PC game like devs are even making games with Unreal 5? Yeah, it's a beautiful perspective into the future of gaming, correct? But Unreal 4 is so stable, and it's been the most used thing in the past, the biggest engine in the world. And it's stable, and it's also secure, unlike Unity. Unity's, very easily broken into, and it's not very reliable. But when you look at Unreal 4,
I don't know.
It's a good tool. It's a good tool. Don't get me wrong. But I can hack into anyone's game that use Unity.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't Unreal, like, if we're talking like, I guess because Unreal isn't it also like open source, or are we talking about different things here?
It is open source, but the security level is way different than Unity than Unreal. Unreal, I think you have to still pay for it. Unity's free.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I think Unity is completely free to everybody, and I think Unreal, you have to have some type of purchase package.
But like, yeah, so the thing is, like, for example, because Pav has already made the jump into it with their most recent beta, but they took the past, literally, it was a year and 2 days before they launched like a public beta for Unreal, because they're on 4.21 right now. They wanted to go to 4.27. They released the Shaq release candidate in 4.27 back in like June. That hasn't been touched since in terms of 4.27, because they want to do that on 5. And PC just no update, no nothing, no update. December hits, boom, finally
We get a
update,
beta. Yeah,
but
we get a
we're
beta, but
still waiting for
far
a mod
away.
kit.
Yeah.
Because we're still waiting for a mod kit because the thing, and they did say this, and anybody that knows Unreal Engine knows that you have to swap over everything
I
whenever
heard
you
it
change the engine.
simplifies a lot of things. I heard UE5 simplifies a lot of things.
It is. It's just harder to code in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say hard.
What I've heard from everybody in the dev is it's not the easiest to play with VR. I mean, anything when you code in the VR is hard.
The problem right now that Pav is facing is Steam's implementation of OpenXR is really bad. So like custom bindings and everything, for example, don't work right now. They're trying to find a fix for that.
Failing. Oh, bro, it keeps failing on me because I don't want to push in my left thumbstick, so I change it to the touchpad. I change it to the touchpad to open bind
doesn't
menu,
work,
and it's broken right now.
So Pavlov, is this still is Dave still the only dev?
No. He's got a whole team behind him.
Okay, because before I thought he was the only one that was really making.
He was for a long while, and probably until like 2020. But they have like a whole team of, I think it's like 10 or 11 people or something like that, and then they also have like an outsourced studio as well that does a lot of stuff. And
they also have an anti-cheat and others.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they implemented easy anti-cheat. So I mean,
yeah, and that's another thing VR really needs to work on. I really hope, especially with what Scott's making from Ghost of War, they're making a really crazy anti-cheat that where if you get caught cheating, it will literally make your hardware not playable.
So hardware ban?
A hardware ban, correct. And it's not just a hardware ban. It's literally not just your GPU or your CPU, whatever what your main thing you're running with. It'll also like ban like certain things that are just like, why would you ban it? But it's still like he's doing it just to do it because he can.
They'll probably IP ban. They'll probably hardware ban.
Because I mean that, like it or not, I mean that is a problem that you see in games. And I was having a conversation about this with somebody today. Because I know before they implemented easy anti-cheat, like Pavlov used to, especially in like some of the custom game modes or whatnot, like used to just be riddled with cheaters. Like you'd hop on like PavZ and somebody be speed hacking running around, and like you basically
reluctantly there's people like you and me who's like server moderators, and we can ban them for
which is nice, but it doesn't ban them from the game, so they could just hop into like any random lobby and then just wreak havoc and move on. And
I wish we could do like how Rust does it. You can upload clips and stuff and to like the mods or whatever, and they can actually hardware ban them.
So like theoretically, like I don't think they can hardware ban, but I mean, at least from my understanding, like being a mod in the main Pav Discord is like if somebody is legitimately cheating, like if you see somebody like speed hacking or whatnot, like send a clip, get the Steam ID, and you send it to one of the mods. We forward it to the devs, and then the devs at least have the ability to game ban. But even then, like an IP ban or something like that would be a little bit better.
Yeah, and I think especially Vale, and I know Ghost of War, just from the hands, I think Breaches is working on something. The competitive scene is definitely working on anti-cheats because regardless of what you're doing, when it comes to competitive, when there's people that know that someone's better than you, they're going to find a way to try and,
get one up.
And, like, screw people, like, especially with, like, right now with Breachers, they'll do an update, and, like, I don't know if people, like, load into a map by themselves, but they'll find freaking wall hacks, like, within the first hour of the most recent update. I'm just like, why are you guys even doing this? We're still gonna murder you. It's like you're running out of time. You're just being a freaking nuisance.
The main concern I feel like is as competitive scenes grow, and competitive integrity's always been a thing, because it's hard to enforce stuff. Like I know, especially like back when, not even just like on like the cheat side of thing, but like play spacing has always been a argument, and you look at me like I'm crazy, or people that are watching this, but
play spacing is annoying.
It's especially when the movement system has like literally I worked with the Veil devs and sat in a call for like 2 hours and show them literally all the broken shit that you can do with place spacing. So like they had it so like okay, if I hold an M4, I'm moving at like 320 like units a second or whatnot. The max movement speed's 470. Now if I combine that with my joystick movement with my IRL movement, I could just swing a corner with an M4 at 470
At
like
mock,
max speed.
mock Jesus.
And there's no acceleration at all. It is just instantaneously. I'm like, yeah, I can fuck with people like crazy, and this is gonna not be good for competitive. So please fix this or
I
try
think
to
contractors you could still play
contractors
space
you
move.
still can.
Yeah.
100% you still can.
Because I like laying down instantly. So like I have this, I'm training where I can drop from a full standing to like laying down, no issues whatsoever.
Yeah.
And doing that while full sprint's kind of funny to watch. You see somebody just fucking drop.
Yeah, but it's even just the side to side too, because between that and netcode, it's just like you can warp around a corner to somebody before they can even like react to you at all.
Yeah,
if you're going fast enough.
It's kind of like a cheat, honestly. It's kind of like a speed hack.
What was interesting, funny enough, I was in a deathmatch server and I was at 100 ping. I was like kind of doing that to people just to like dick around or whatnot. And somebody literally is like, "Is this guy speed hacking? Like you're a speed hacker?" I'm like, "Buddy, I'm literally just like zooming around my room a little bit and also sprinting around a corner." But I mean, it's
kind of scummy, like
100%. I mean, it's tough because it's like, okay, you could just say like, all right, learn the movement then, like just suck it up and learn the movement, which fair play, like whatever. But also like
some people can't do it though.
The problem, yeah, well, that and the problem is it always relates back to like balance and stuff. Now, if your game is about movement, like contractors, like you can jump around, you can slide, you can do all this stuff. Yeah. So it's ever so slightly less of a problem in that game versus Pavlov, which it's meant to be ever so slightly slower paced than contractors. And so,
but a little higher pace than like
Onward.
Onward, yeah.
Well, Onward you still can do fucking everything, yeah. Which not like I've played some Onward. Like there's things that I like about it, and it definitely is supposed to be more for like the Milsim crowd and everything. It's just I've touched it a little bit, and then I was just like, I'm gonna go back.
Wasn't for me. Too slow.
I don't mind the two.
I like contractors. Love it.
Ever since their last update ruined it.
Yeah, you think so? I like Onward's weird.
Recoil
I like
their horrible.
Yeah, recoil is horrible. But
for what? Contractors?
Yeah, they made a new update where the contractors where there's a bullet jump now, and it was god awful.
They've updated the recoil like 3 times within the past year.
And they were always doing it during the league. And the funniest thing is that they had a team that had like devs in it that had plenty of time, probably even testing it, to where they're just like, okay, I know you're in league, but you guys get like maybe 3 days to figure out this recoil. Good luck versing us this week.
Yeah, it's
like, god damn.
Yeah, it's a little weird having your own dev team in.
They no longer can have people from their dev team. I think one of the dev teams even got caught cheating. So allegedly, I don't want to get sued or anything. Allegedly,
that was the whole situation.
And I think people know what I'm talking about, but I'm still going to say allegedly, even though maybe true or not true. But you guys got. I did not have dev team. And hey, and by the way, you guys can let me back on the contractors Discord and not stop banning me for life. God damn.
That was an interesting situation. I'm not going to speak too much on it, but because that all transpired in Miami, and I saw a lot of the back and forth. I'm like, oh, this is a time. Anyways, Veil later.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, but competitive integrity is always going to be a thing with VR esports moving forward. And there's so many extra factors that you have to, factor in, like just because of the unique movement of VR games as of right now, and everybody's individual setup, right? Like how do you normalize that? And that was kind of where I was going with the whole how do you plan a LAN thing. Like I know that it was like Facebook Connect had the Onward one in like 2018, and so a lot of notes were taken from that one and applied into this one. And we were on, I think it was i9 12th gen, I think, and 3080s or 3090s. or something like that. So like we could comfortably play Veil at 120 hertz, which
Oh, that's good.
still I would have loved to play at 144 hertz, but I was not ready for that yet.
Well, you also got to think they also had systems that were also going elsewhere. Their bandwidth must have been crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
I'm sure, and they were doing it in a like
What,
in an art museum.
was I got a question for that, by the way.
Okay.
Were they still using public servers, or did they bring a server?
They brought a server. It was
Okay.
it was essentially a true LAN. Like
Yeah.
the scoreboard reports like the actual connection time to the server and back, which is like 16 milliseconds or something like that. But everybody was at like 16 milliseconds, so it essentially was like either the closest thing to or an actual LAN that you were gonna get.
That's awesome. Yeah, and the freaking the light up stuff when people died and were alive, that was brilliant. That was great especially for VR.
I think that was she's one of like the higher ups in IVRL, which is the league that pulled all this off.
Yeah.
That was kind of like his idea there, and that like made the viewability even better too. And you had, for the casting experience, you had the Live developers working with the Veil team to like actually make a good casting tool, because that's always been a problem, right? Like as somebody who's casted a lot of like Pavlov matches, I've had teammates cast Pop 1 matches. The viewability for VR is always difficult, especially like just making content too. Like how do you get people to watch VR content and not feel like motion sick because I'm doing a head tilt like that or whatnot. And so they worked with the Live devs to get a really good like first person camera that works, and like it looks pretty good and it's watchable. And I think especially as they kind of continue on, we'll see kind of the evolution of that, and it'll make the viewing experience for people that aren't involved in VR a little bit more familiar, so that they can understand what's going on.
Yeah, because right now, like streaming wise for Pavlov, if you don't have good hardware, you have to use the actual like what is it called? Just the window, like the full screen. And that's on your left eye dominant, right? So like, and it's not both eyes, so you don't you only get to see like half of the screen.
Didn't Live make a tool that enhanced unenhanced the jitteriness?
Something like that. I mean, the Live devs have been doing a lot of stuff. I'm pretty sure even like Shroud like shouted them out. Like,
really?
Yeah, saying that like they were like really good for like VR content creation and stuff. Which
Shroud
I never see that.
Played Pavlov, right?
He did like years back, and then he I don't know if he stuck with it. He said he liked contractors better, honestly, way back then. Which
which is kind of weird. As him as a PUBG guy, you think he would like Pavlov better?
Yeah, it depends.
But hey, we should get him on Breachers if he's a CS:GO guy, though.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean he's just kind of all general like FPS guy. Like he'll literally learn anything because he played a lot of Apex. Like there was a point where I was grinding Apex with people, and I was up in like Plat and Diamond early on in like the first ranked season, to where we were running into like Shroud and Skadoodle and like people in T1 and everything just in like the ranked matches. And it was insane. Like they were nuts. And I'm just like getting into PC gaming in 2019, but it was so like cool to like run into them in lobbies and whatnot. But it's especially like just like for the future of VR, like I know a lot of this conversation today is about like the health of VR and getting people involved into VR, like of course advocating for it, but like also, a lot of people, like especially competitive people that are like, oh, I should be able to like pick this up right away. The game sense wise, like, yeah, you should be able to pick it up. Like anybody can hop into a CSGO map, understand the CSGO stuff if they come from a CS background and understand how the game plays. But in terms of the mechanics, right, like movement, aiming, reloading, basic stuff like reloading, like aiming down the sights and figuring out what eye is dominant, right? There's a couple of people in my team that are right-handed shooters, but left eye dominant.
Yes, I know what that's like. It's shit.
Yep. It's tough, and one of them just aims the gun a little bit more towards the center of their face, and the other one learned how to shoot left-handed specifically because of that. And that's like a thing
to baseball.
And that's a thing that you don't have to think about as much in flat screen gaming because it's all just right there in front of you.
Yeah.
So there's all these like little extra aspects that combine to like
Actual skill. You
But
need actual skill.
Here's the thing. Why don't they just learn to shoot with both eyes?
Because so your
I do.
dominant eye.
No, I
so
shoot
your
with both eyes. In VR, I shoot
It's
both
different.
eyes.
It's different. It's different, right? So your I'm gonna we'll science lesson here for you, right? So your dominant eye, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
It has a better picture. It has better depth perception than the other eye, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a right eye dominant, so it's really good. So I only have to, aim the correct way for me. So it's going to be butt cheek down on the stock with a cheek weld, and have a good aim, right? But for those with right hand, left eye dominant, it's not as simple as just move the rifle over, because that changes the way your rifle shoots.
Yeah, no, I know. I've been shooting guns all my life. Real life, I use one eye, right? But I never use one eye in VR.
No, use both eyes.
Yeah, I use
both eyes in VR.
No, use both eyes all the time.
Oh, I know you're supposed to, but there's something about real life.
Use both eyes all the time. Squint this one if you have to. It's for picture. Because what if somebody is walking to your left and you don't see them?
Maybe I do. I don't know. Now that I think about it, maybe I do shoot like I do in VR.
Because that's when I like, when I was learning like sniper rifles and stuff in Pav, because I wanted to learn everything. One of the things that I had to learn was basically how to use the sniper scope like it's just a red dot, or like it's just a crosshair, and keep the other eye open. And that worked wonders, because you get to keep the depth of your full depth perception and everything in your field of view, and then also you get the sight picture as well with your dominant eye. But if you have somebody put on a VR headset for the first time and they're trying to aim and it's all blurry, they're going to be like, this is blurry, I can't do this.
So a lot of people, right, they don't understand what cheek welds and point shooting and what this means, right? Like holding up your hands the correct way each time actually changes how much accuracy you give. So like, I don't know if you know what controller stacking is. Of course you probably do. YellowHat, you know what controller stacking is. So for the VR controllers, right? These are the Valve Index controllers. So for me, for controller stacking, I make fist, and I put this little nub here in my hand, and that's my controller stack. I use my hand. Mm-hmm. And so like, when you pop up, you know where your sights are going to be. Doesn't matter. You're going to hit them. As long as you keep both eyes open and you are targeted correctly, you will hit them. So, I mean, not a lot of people understand controller stacking, hand placement, body positioning, because if you're tilted a little bit, you're gonna like be off balance.
Or the people that kind of just stand and like either lock their legs or like don't have like a forward stance. They always teach you with shooting guns, like have that forward stance lead into it, because it helps with the recoil and it helps with like actually being able to like turn. Like if somebody pops up on your left, like you got to be able to turn instantly.
Yeah. But I think a lot of it comes with this, repetition, especially when it comes to VR, because you're not going to have everyone that's playing, shooting real guns in real life. But I definitely agree, but that's where a lot of times when it comes to VR, people are saying, hey, why do some people stream you guys' views, things like maybe you should hop in there and actually see like how they're actually running, how they're actually moving around. It's like with me, I don't know how most of you guys play, but I free roam, so it's like I don't use my left analog stick at all. I turn it off, because if I have my analog for my rotating to actually move around, if I'm jumping and moving around, it messes with me. So I turn it off.
So you're a left-handed weirdo.
Huh?
You're a left-handed weirdo then.
I know. So I move around with my right hand.
Yes, with your right. You're left-handed weirdo.
So no.
You spin.
Yeah. So no artificial turn.
No artificial turn.
I was confused. I was like, left-handed? What? That's your movement button.
No. My right hand's movement. Is it? Wait,
you're a left-handed weirdo. Yeah. That's what I mean.
Wait, I don't know. I forgot which one. But anyways, the one that rotates you is off.
Yeah. Okay. So no artificial turn.
No artificial turn for this guy. I can't stand that shit.
Okay. So honestly, what's funny is that Thief on my team also does not use artificial turn at all. He turns in real life, and that's.
I move too much. So like I have a decent sized area, but I move too much.
I mean, even me, like I played VR for about like 1,300 hours on snap turn, and then I finally made the swap to smooth turn.
I have
And
3K hours and I only use smooth
I
turn.
guarantee
I've
though in
only
real
ever used
life,
smooth turn.
I will unload bullets quicker than you could turn.
No, I will stomp you every
No.
second.
I
I can
might
tell
be,
you.
I might be
have
turning.
dude, I am a superhuman.
Yeah.
This is our
Uh,
competitive sense coming out.
I have training.
I have training.
Years of training. Actual legitimate
Me
weapons.
too. Of
I want a major.
spinning. When I was a kid, I used to do
get out of here.
circles all
Get outta
in the
here.
air all the time. You know, I used to just do circles all the time. So
No, but and that's the interesting thing of like being at the major was seeing how everybody aimed, because like I know like
Weird.
well yeah, because especially because a lot of the players were like from the Pav community, like Vortex, Rect,
Yeah.
and Royal Strive were all pretty much Pavlov background players. And there was like a couple contractors players in there, one onward player, and then Cobra Cartel all came from Pop One. Those are the 4 teams that were involved in the major. And so I know that, like, for example, like one of the players on Royal Strive, I know that he stacks Vive controllers and Vive wands and does like this.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I know that one technique that a couple of my teammates did was stack a Vive controller with an index control on the left hand and go like that, and controller stack that way. Whereas I freehand, right? I just keep the controllers separate.
I like freehanding, but I like the maneuverability with the controller stacking.
It's very comparable to wrist aiming on a mouse versus arm aiming on a mouse, right? Because
when I use the Scarred Pav, when I use DMRs, I have my arm out. But if I'm using like AKM4 and I'm getting ready for close, like that's when I controller stack.
Because controller stacking, I think, at least from friends of mine, it's like really good for flicks because you're moving less, because you're, you don't have as much to move around. But also, like, I from having shotguns in real life as well, I appreciate just being able to put my hands out and, this is where my rifle is going to be. And it works for pretty much everything. And I do controller stack for pistols because,
I don't controller stack for pistols. You can have your other.
Weirdo.
No. Listen. Right. So you can grab with your controller and you could have it at your pocket ready to reload. So all you have to do is hold your arm out, take your shots. Whenever you need to reload, you literally could just let go, reload, and then you just grab it again, and then you go back. It is the quickest way to reload and get your shots off accurately. Yeah, Deagle. I'm okay. I'm not the best.
You can one-handed Deagle without the recoil messing with you.
No. I'm saying I can. It's both hands on, but you don't actually like need the second hand for.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I one hand, easy. And so when I'm actually aiming with the D, like in real life, I have my arm set and it's straight through my body, so like I know where I'm gonna shoot each time. It's a phenomena that you have to like actually get. Yes, that you actually get from like training actual pistols. You have your way you set your arm, and you know where your aim is gonna be. Like it's kind of like rifles, but there's a certain way you hold it. Like there's a cant. Like you can, some people tilt like this.
And so like that was, spoiler, I'm eventually going to work on an aim guide or something because apparently I can aim. So that is one of the things I'll talk about is like, experimenting with, how you hold your controllers, because that is very much a different thing. And, people are going to be able to controller stack easier on index versus controller stacking on Quest controllers because those rings at the top. Like,
you put the controller in the controller. That's a thing.
Some people do that.
I would never do that.
Weird.
That's weird.
It works.
Some people,
but you can do it.
That's not me.
Well, PSVR 2 is going to be able to control stack nicely.
So is the new Deckard controller, supposedly.
But it's for those out there that are like trying to figure stuff out, like experiment with all like different types, like either
VR virtual stock, non-virtual stock. I prefer virtual stock over
100%. It makes everything a little bit steadier, and because you don't have the actual weight of the gun,
it's a lot more like real life. Yeah, it helps you with your.
But still, get an Olin VR gun stock and give it a try, though.
Owen's a cool guy.
I want to try one.
Yeah, Owen's a cool guy actually, and he I think either just released or is releasing like new index scripts, because the original ones they weren't
They were sticking. That's what I heard.
It's the actual way it cupped around the top sensor as well as the bridge. Like it cupped like that versus like the way he did it now. Like I tested it at the Veil LAN. I'm like, dude, this is so much better. Like this is a W for sure. I personally don't use a stock, but I
don't.
see some of the benefits of it depending on the game, right?
So contractors and
Onward,
great for stocks. Great for stocks, but like Pavlov, I don't see the need.
The ranges.
The new one he made is gonna be good for breachers.
Yeah, I would say for breachers because a lot of the leans and stuff.
Yeah, he's also making like a half stock or something like 4.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. This one I'm talking about now is specifically for like really quick, tight knit.
I want a half stock. That's so like for me, I want a half stock. So I'm very much like, you know, I'm very driven by the stock. Like the stock helps me aim, and I set my shoulder properly, you know. And so like doing the motions and stuff, you know, it's easy for me. Yeah. But it's like it's not as I can't like it's a weird thing that you want to pull down, but it's like I don't have any physical sensation, and it's like bothering me.
The one thing about me is just like Call of Duty on a flat screen pancake game is that I constantly reload like a maniac. As soon as I drop someone, I drop, load a clip, and I do it all the time. I never completely wait for a clip to be done because that I have to have a full clip in case there's other situations. So that's
called mag rotation.
Yeah, and so I do the crap out of it, and that's the one thing. If Olin can find a way to where I can fastly reload and comfortably get back into the stock as quickly as I do it, I maybe have to just get him on video one day and just be like, look how fast I just reload.
Controller, no. I'm telling you, get a half stock and controller stack, or find a way to stack your hands. Yeah. For close quarters. I mean, far shots are gonna want to, you know. I rotate my controller actually, so like, it's a straight arm. I rotate mine too. It's less tiring.
Yeah.
It's less tiring, and you can hold it there. You know.
I just do the same thing for everything. I just hands up like that, just freehand, and it
freehand's nice. I love freehand.
It depends.
Yeah.
So like for me, I'm used to like a C grip for holding my rifle. So I'm used to like this. So, you know, doing this, it's kind of like an overhand C grip, which I like too, but it's not as comfortable as this.
See, this is the stuff that you could get like the military people just going on about for forever in VR. But for me, like I definitely try to keep everything as similar as possible. Like I had a friend who like he won like a Pro Tube voucher, and he actually gave it to me because he's like, I'm not going to use a Pro Tube anytime soon. I'm like, okay, like I'll get one for my another VR stock.
Oh, okay.
And so I actually have the Pro Tube cups on my Quest controllers because the Quest controllers by themselves are really small. I have pretty big hands, and I'm like, I need something that feels.
That's why I have this for the bit. I have this for my my controllers, little fucking grip enhancers, if you will.
Yeah,
just slides on and off.
Yeah, and so for my Quest controllers, they feel much more like I've gotten to the feel much more like my index controllers, just in terms of how I'm actually holding it, so that when I'm aiming rifles, it feels exactly the same whether I'm on Quest or on index. Because that's going to be the thing, is that, you know, people are eventually going to start like, you know, going between a bunch of different headsets. Even, you know, I've played comp on both index and Quest 2, and eventually if I get a PSVR,
I want those damn flip VR controllers. I want them. They're not out yet. They're in the pre-stages. I want them. I can't wait. And they're Steam VR compatible. Gonna be great.
Which is nice. But yeah, before I get a PSVR 2, I have to justify spending like a shit ton of money because
on a PS5 and
it's just $1,200, you know, 14 with tax.
You know,
I hope they do a bundle, because if they do a bundle and it's like maybe $100 cheaper, maybe, right?
That would be fantastic.
It might drive up sales.
If they did a PSVR 2 and a PlayStation bundle for say $1,000, you know how many people would probably buy that?
A lot, because, you know, what's the normal PS5? 600?
Well, it depends if you get the disc version or not. So if you get the digital version, it is $456, and I think the disc version is $556, $100 difference.
Mm-hmm.
And then the PCVR is coming in at $600.
Damn.
Yeah, $600. One of the most expensive ones for for it to be something stuck to a console. But so we're up on the hour, so I do want to touch base on one thing. Basically, do you guys think that with the trend for 2023 is going towards standalone? You know, we have HTC coming out with their standalone. We have potentially a Quest 3 coming out that will be actually, you know, not for you know, companies and stuff. It's going to be for competitive play. And then we also have the Deckard and potentially other great things as well. We also have Apple's headset that will be coming out towards the end of the year, going into, I think, 2024, maybe 2023 at Christmas time. But do you think that we're going to a standalone world, or do you think there's always going to be a PC VR world?
Having started on PC VR, like, you know, that's always been quote unquote like not prime, the like the premier experience, so to speak, in terms of like, you know, you get the best graphical fidelity, the best frame rates, yada yada yada.
If they can bring that,
what if they make a standalone like that?
If they can bring
exactly. But if that happens,
100%.
Because people don't like being tied to a wire, like, you know, especially
and the wires break easy. Like, it's not, you know. I've had this wire for a year, and it's starting to.
What we call leaning in contractors has caused me to like definitely get a lot of get some snowflakes in the wire. So needless to say that. It's at the point where you have to like unplug it and replug it in, even though I know that's not like the best.
And there's just a kink in the actual cording in the actual the rubber thing. So I definitely think 2023 standalone is going to be the thing. Yeah, I think they're going to start a trend, and I think just competitors are going to have to run with it. But you know, in order to have a viable standalone headset attached to your brain, you're going to have to think about the fans that they're also going to have to put in there for cooling. Unless they find some way to liquid cool your head and not let it explode and blind the shit out of you, you know.
Get a radiator.
Have a radiator. But the biggest thing is we also have to think of the things that we're also putting near our freaking brain as well.
Fuck it.
But you know, if they can have something at 140 hertz, and you know, just
100%. I will drop 3K. I will drop 3K on a standalone Valve Index that is customizable. Easy. I would do that right now. But I mean, you know, it's not as available.
I mean, it's even just the trend with like flat screen stuff. Like, you know, PC's always there and everything, and you have consoles as well. But like, it's so much easier to like have like a Nintendo Switch or to have like a mobile games, like literally phone games. And there's a huge.
That's why there's huge markets for that right now too.
And there's still competitive stuff for mobile gaming. So what's stopping VR from kind of doing the same? And you know, a lot of these companies are putting like pass through, and they're really focusing.
That's why I think Quest 2 has been doing good. I hate who's behind it, and you know, like the makers.
Don't get me started.
But
we're at the end of the show. Don't get me started on this shit at the end of the show.
But Quest 2 is very progressive in what it wants to do. Yes, it's not the best quality, but you can make it so it is. You can just plug in the wire. I just think they need to step up.
Yeah, I mean we have 90 hertz capability. It's a freaking switch. The devs only have to turn it on.
That, and like, you know, you can take it literally I know people that, you know, take it to work and like share it with friends or whatnot, and like breaks or whatnot, or you know, I took it home.
I only thought to get a Quest 2 for when I deployed, and that way I could still play.
And at the price at the time that I got it of $300, like you could see why so many people wound up getting it, and why it's literally
a dominated market.
Why it's 50% of the Steam VR user base, which yes, it right now is actually 2% of the total Steam users right now have a VR headset. But I mean, the Quest 2 is literally like, it was up at like 48% of Steam VR users use a Quest 2. Mm-hmm. So I imagine that if Valve comes out with something that's standalone and is the quality of the index or better, like, you know, graphical fidelity and frame rate, like people are going to swap to that. Like there's no,
I might not swap to that even if they get that, honestly. Like, no, I don't support their software. Their software is such garbage. I can't, like, I love Steam VR too much to switch to Oculus software.
Oh, I was talking about Valve.
Oh, okay. But you were saying, yeah, that's fair.
I said a Valve, yeah, but no, all good. I think like a Quest 3 or what, like I saw the Quest Pro. I'm like, how are you gonna spend $1,500? And I'm like, that's not something I want to do. Like what's it like the
Nothing.
first thing I usually
Worthless.
the first thing I usually look for is like refresh rate. If I don't see 144 on there, I'm like, why am I gonna get this?
120 is like my
No, I want 100. I want 100.
Then,
I want 144. It's buttery smooth. I remember making the switch from 60 to 100.
See, he just went from PCVR graphics to Quest.
That's Quest graphics.
Oh, exactly. That's
honest to God. That's what it is right there.
As soon as he's talking about it, he goes.
There we go.
You should see.
Hey, PCVR graphics. We're better. We're back.
So I'm just saying, you should see the difference in like the graphics for like some of the maps for Pavlov. Like, oh my God, it's a difference.
Oh, absolutely. Like sand, like the
default sand. That's all we need to say. Sand.
Yeah. it looks so good on UE5 version, and like, you know, it's crazy. And then
even in UE4, sand was beautiful.
It's a pretty good map, and you know, but it's unfortunate because like you were talking about how you know, the whole like, let's focus on PCVR first and then Quest versus you should focus on the majority first and then PCVR.
Yeah.
Which it's hard because no matter what, like sacrifices have to be made in terms of quality. But I think Breachers, like, they really found that like happy medium.
Yeah, they've got that drive, whatever it is
like,
they have.
It looks pretty decent. I'm excited to see how it looks on PCVR whenever that comes out.
Same.
Do we have a date for that yet, or
no? I know it's soon.
I want it.
I mean, it's got to be within the next couple months, because I think. Well, I asked them when they're going to release, and they just said 2023. They didn't give me an exact date, but I know, like,
I'm
knowing
guessing
the
it's
way
going to
it's
be
built,
within the next month and a half.
I would say it'd be before June.
I give it 2 months max.
Hey, all I'm saying is whatever VR game has like a solid progression system and like has an incentive to grind. Because I feel like one thing too, and it's tough because like I know Pop One, they had their ranked ladder and everything, and they have like a skin system and whatnot. It's just it for me, like it's definitely
too kiddish for me.
Well,
it's like Fortnite.
I don't even care about the kiddish stuff. Like I play fucking Pokemon. I don't care.
That is a classic. And you only play it for nostalgia. Prove me wrong.
No, I enjoy the new stuff.
Yeah, the new one's actually pretty good. My one of my younger brothers likes it, and he's in his 20s. So,
yeah, I'm 6-3, or wait, what am I? I'm like 5-3 in ranked right now. So we're doing good. But
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Damn.
There's ranked in Pokemon.
I didn't know there was.
There's the VGCs. It's literally hosted by Nintendo. Damn. Every year. Yeah, and it's worldwide.
For catching Pokemon?
No, for battling.
For battling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's
Sixth?
like a whole No,
yes,
not wait, so there's like a whole competitive format for it that's been going on since like 2010, and they have like a VGC Worlds tournament every year and like regional tournaments all over the world.
And you placed what?
Oh, I didn't place anything. I'm just saying I'm like, 5-3 or something like
5
that.
wins, 3 losses.
Yeah. No,
gotcha.
if I was
we thought you meant 5th and 3rd.
Yeah, I thought you meant you were like 5th. Yeah, exactly.
I was about to say, damn.
If I was that, I don't know if I'd be
like, why the hell are you on this podcast right now?
Yeah, right. The luck.
So with the hour being up though, is there anything that you want to kind of talk about before we end the podcast?
You know, throw out your socials or anything too.
It's all in the link in the description, but you can throw them out still.
It's down below somewhere. But it's cool to like, talk with everybody in the VR community. And like I didn't talk a lot about Vortex too much besides like, winning the Veil Major and everything. But like one of our big goals has always been just to try to, be leaders in the VR space and try to bring in new people. So however, doing that via content creation or, just having events, etc. So I think that's definitely something that like we all as VR players that are like experienced to strive towards. Because, we talk about all these things of like, accessibility and stuff like that. And it's really hard for us who have like thousands of hours in VR to take a step back and remember what it was like to first put on a VR headset and like first experience it. And so trying to get people's first experiences to be really good, I think that's a very important thing. So competitive or non-competitive, like just make sure that the peeps around you are having a kick-ass time.
Yeah,
So,
I totally agree with that.
I'm kind of that person, you know, like for whenever I'm in VR Massive, dude, I'm the guy that makes everybody laugh and I do dumb stuff and it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
And it works the best part is it works half the time because people don't expecting the dumb stuff.
Yeah, because that's the stuff people remember. Like people don't know what to expect when they hop in Pavlov, right? And like all the funny stuff you can do, or like, you know, you hop in Pop One and you're in a pregame lobby with everybody, or you know, you hop into contractors and all of a sudden you're blasting people with Star Wars weapons and it's insane just the amount of stuff that you can already do in VR. And I think that kind of contributes to the health of it. Like people always will be like, oh, VR is dead, man, VR, but like, you know, there's a lot of good tech rolling out. People are continually improving games and it's exciting to see where it's going.
I'm excited for Breachers. That's probably going to be my grind, honestly. Like if you know it comes to Steam VR, I'm not gonna say when because you know it's happening, but I'm not sure, right?
And I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting to come in there, and I'm gonna put you on the opposite team and run right through you.
Of course, because it's gonna be my first time playing. But once I get it down, I have literal training of clearing rooms.
And that's when you're gonna start playing. You know, you're already on Havoc. You know, for our Veil team, you can just come over to, you know, be on my team on Havoc. We'll just run through people like Vortex here.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited,
and I definitely agree especially when it comes to 2023. You know, I allow people to at least have 1 month of noob stomping. Go ahead, wreck those mother truckers like it's like Merry Christmas. Santa Claus isn't real. You're dying in the game, and then after a month, okay, cool, okay.
I never noob stomp. I don't like doing it. You know, I have my fun, and when I have to, when we're like, you know, 5-0 and Pavlov, then I'll start trying. And usually, you know, I carry the team for the most part, but like, I still try to not be as toxic. You know, like
I know. Don't be toxic.
We were talking about that handy clapper player earlier. That dude, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before, that like whole season when there was like a huge bump in the amount of people playing, he taught I think about 400 plus people how to defuse the bomb in Pavlov. 400.
Dude, that's my favorite thing. Also, like trying to open menu, mute yourself, like teach them basic controls. Like
there's a tutorial, but nobody fucking does
head vector to like your hands for snap turn.
So again, two things for VR developers that ever decide to watch this. A, don't make your default for sprint the joystick click, and then B, head vector should be default movement.
Yes. Head vector, not this hand. I don't care which way my hands are. I'm not running that way. It's where I'm head looking.
As from a friend who was just getting into VR, he's like, dude, that changed everything. Like when I was on hand vector, I felt like I was literally drunk, dude. Exactly. That's exactly how it feels. So any VR developer that's watching this,
I'm hand vector. That's how I play.
Yeah, you're drunk.
I'm drunk all the time. God damn it, though.
Hey, your New Year's resolution was drink less.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I think it's a great fucking wrap point, don't you?
Yeah, this is a good podcast. A nice meeting you, YellowHat. Congratulations again at the Miami Veil tournament. Hopefully they do that lane again. It was really good for the.
They say they want to. So
yeah, we'll see. We'll see when next year comes. So
the next
season
tournament, season starts the beginning of next month.
February 6th.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening next month for sure. Between
even this month, you know, the 30th is VRML.
So really enjoyed having you on. Just like a lot of other ones, we like to bring people on. You're welcome back whenever you want to. Either get a hold of us, stay in our Discord, and people, as I say, Discord. We do have a new Discord. We're no longer doing things in VR Esports Havoc's Discord. I separated VR Jungle into its own Discord, which is in the link in the description. For there, and then go check out everything that YellowHat has to offer, and Vortex as well. Vortex is a great team.
Personals.
Yeah, his personals.
So I got my YouTube, my Twitch. YouTube is just YellowHat, and probably YellowHat07.
I also have stuff too.
Yeah, Twitter is YellowHat HD. Twitch is YellowHat07. I need to start streaming more, as I need to start making more videos as well. But
once I get my new computer, I'll stream
if you want like guides on like how to use weapons and like deep dive analytics into like weapon stats and stuff, if you're like a numbers person, I feel like you may enjoy my stuff.
Awesome.
And then, of course, there's at VortexVRE on Twitter. That's Vortex's main Twitter. We are starting to like upload shorts a little bit more too. So I think it's VortexVR over on YouTube. And then, just shout out to all like the Vortex people that stream, like Sumachi. He's got his Twitch, and there's other people in the Vortex fam that do that as well. But I was gonna say one more thing. I it's of course now I think of something that it just blanks. If you ever have any questions on stuff, or if you want to get more into the VR esports side of things, I mean, you get a couple of great resources here, as well as you can feel free to ask me stuff. My Discord is always open, and I have my own personal Discord as well,
Awesome.
which I can throw that somewhere.
Yeah, go ahead. So I don't have your Twitch or your Discord, so give me both of those, and I'll put in the description. Message me in the team one that we have. The guest chat that I just created.
We'll do, because I'm definitely trying to do like more events just to get more
Awesome.
people involved on that side of things. So, but again, any questions that anybody watching this has for me, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to chit chat and answer stuff. But it's been a pleasure again, for sure.
Yeah. Pleasure. Yes, of course.
So, and just to end this, go check out all of our sponsors and affiliates, and go check out Kuss's stuff as well. He is one hell of a player over in the esports scene as well. Hopefully, he's plans on making Havoc's Veil team. So hopefully when they ramp up more on competitive play, we'll go there. But for next week, we'll be back on schedule every week again. We just had, just with the holidays and everything, was kind of a mess that we just took. I said, hey, let's just take a couple weeks off, just like a little vacation, family break and everything. But next week, we do have a guest, and it's kind of funny as I'm about to talk about him. He is one of the last people in the comments right now, which is Red Coin Co. He is a game developer, and in June, he published his very first game. So before we have him on, go ahead and check out that game. It's called Shadow of Colossus VR. And we'll bring him on and talk about that and just everything about VR and what's going to be great of 2023. So be there.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
East, Monday. Everyone, thanks for watching. Go like, subscribe. YellowHat, always a pleasure. Stay here for a second while I close everything out. We'll say bye to each other in private stuff. Oh, he's got a YellowHat. Oh, he just now brings out the damn YellowHat. Last bit of the show, he brings out
I have
a
Spartan helmet, but my Spartan helmet's not.
You keep it away. Bring it out next episode. Everyone, wave at the cameras. Thanks for coming. See you next Monday.